Today we are going to start with the poem Enterprise, written by Nissim Ezekiel. Nissim Ezekiel was born in the year 1924 and died in the year 2004. So Nissim Ezekiel, he was an Indian poet. Okay, he was a very well-known, a very famous poet in India. But what happened when he writes poem, he always writes in English. Even though he was an Indian poet, but he always write in English. So he was a professor. In the year 1960, he was a professor in the Bombay University, and he also lectured. He had lectured in the US and also in Australia. So this poem, Enterprise, it is based on a religious theme. So the poem consists of six stanzas, and each stanzas five lines. Again, the poem consists of six stanzas and each stanzas five lines. Okay, let's move on with the first stanza. It started as a pilgrimage, exalting minds and making all. The burden light, the second stage explored but did not test the call. The sun beat down to match our rage. So okay, here in the very first stanza, the poet, that is Nissim Ezekiel, he said that it started as a pilgrimage. It means that the poet, he went on a pilgrimage. The meaning of pilgrimage, it means a holy journey. Okay, so pilgrimage, again, it is a holy journey. When we say journey, kamut kajingnya lenti. So it is a holy journey. So the poet, he went on this holy journey. He went on a pilgrimage along with the other pilgrims. Pilgrims, it means the people going on that religious journey, going on that pilgrimage. Don't get confused between the word pilgrimage and pilgrims. Pilgrimage, it is a holy journey, and pilgrims, they are the people who undertake that holy journey, who undertake that pilgrimage. So what happened? The poet and the other pilgrims, they went on a pilgrimage. So exalting mind and making all. So what happened? The poet and the other pilgrims, they were very happy. Exalting mind, it means that they were very excited. They were filled with joy, filled with enthusiasm, and then they were very happy to go on this religious journey. The burden light, the second stage explored but did not test the call. The burdens, they are the problems. Okay, so these pilgrims, they said that when they said that even though the problems come, even though the obstacles comes, when they were on that religious journey, on that pilgrimage, they said that they will never give up. Whatever the problem comes, whatever the consequences comes, they will never ever give up. And so while they were on that journey, the first ever problems that they faced was the sun beat them down. It means that the sun was getting very hot, very hot. So just imagine going on that journey, okay, and the sun very hot, without any shades, without any umbrella. Just imagine how they would feel. So these pilgrims, they face their first problem, that is the beating of the sun. The sun was very hot, and then these pilgrims, they never give up. Even though the sun was very hot, they never give up. They continue on their pilgrimage. So in the second stanza, we stood it very well, I thought. Observe and put down copious notes on things the peasants sold and bought, the way of serpents and of goats. 3 cities where a sage had taught. So okay, here in the second stanza, the poet, he says that these pilgrims, they had succeeded when they faced that problem, when the sun beat them down. These pilgrims, they were succeeded in facing the very first problem coming on their way. And now he felt that even though if any problems come, when they continue on their journey, these pilgrims, they will never give up. They will succeed in every problems that they face, in every obstacles that they will space. So what happened? When they were walking on that journey, what happened? Observe and put down copious notes on things the peasants sold and bought. So on their way, these pilgrims, while they were walking on their way, these pilgrims, they were very, very busy doing what? They were writing it down in their notebook. What are the what made them write? What are the things that they were writing in that notebook? They were writing about the peasant. Okay, the peasant is a farmer. They were writing about the farmer who sold and bought the things, the crops, the vegetables. So here these pilgrims, while they were walking, they were very, 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 very busy. They took out their notebook with a pen, and then they started writing in their notebook of how this peasant sold the things and bought the things. Not only that, they also wrote about the serpent. It is a snake. Okay, so they noted down the ways of a snake, how the snake was crawling, what the color of the snake. So they wrote it down in their notebook, and the goats as well. So they wrote all these things in their notebooks. And then at the same time, they wrote about a sage. So this sage, it means a wise man. So they wrote about the wise man who taught in 3 cities. So these pilgrims, they saw the peasant who bought and sold. They saw a serpent, a goat, and a sage, a wise man who taught in 3 cities. So they wrote all these things that they had saw there. They wrote everything in their notebook. And then in the 3rd stanza, but when the differences arose on how to cross a desert patch, we lost a friend whose stylish prose was quite the best of all a batch. A shadow falls on us and grows. So here in the 3rd stanza, these pilgrims, but you see there, but when the differences arose, so there arises the very first differences among the pilgrims. Okay, so there was a differences among the pilgrims, and that differences arise on how to cross a desert patch, a landscape. Okay, so that was the very first differences that arises among them. They were debating. These pilgrims, they were divided into 2 groups. So the other groups, they said that, come on, let's cross this desert patch, and on the other way, let's move on, let's go to the other way. But the other group, they denied about it. They didn't agree with the first group. So that was the very first differences that arose among the pilgrims. So at that moment, there was a stylish prose. So this stylish prose, he was a very, very intellectual person. He was very intellectual, a very good person, a man with experience, a man with intellectual. So he was very, very intelligent among all the pilgrims. Okay, so what happened? At that moment, the group in which the poet consists, they lost a stylish prose. So this stylish prose, he went on with the other group. So now the pilgrims, they were divided into 2 groups. So the first group that contained a stylish prose, they went on to the other way, and now the second group, which contains the poet, they left and they went on to the other way. And then a shadow falls on us and grows. So why shadow falls on us? It means that because they have lost a very intelligent, a very intellectual person, which was the stylish prose. So that is why the shadow falls on the pilgrims, which the poet was there. And then another in the 4th stanza, another phase was reached when we were twice attacked and lost our way. A section claimed its liberty to leave the group. I tried to pray, a leader said he smelled the sea. And then in the fourth stanza, like I have explained you in the third stanza, the pilgrims, they were divided into two groups. So now there were two groups. The other groups, which contained the stylish prose, they left, they went on their way, and now the group which contains the poet, now they went on the other way. So now the group which contained the poet, and now what happened? They continued, they went on walking, okay, to reach their destination. And then what happened? As they were walking and walking and walking, they lost their way. They don't know which way to go. Now they were just going without an aim. They were very, very aimless. They don't know the way to their destination. So at that moment, they lost their way. So at that moment, the poet Nissim Ezekiel, he was feeling very, very sad. So when he was feeling very sad, what he did, he started to pray. Okay, so he was praying, and then while he was praying, the other pilgrims, they said that it's okay, now we're done. We're not going to continue this journey anymore. We will go back to our homes. We'll quit. Okay, we want freedom. So the poet, he told those pilgrims that never give up. I'm praying, and we will surely reach our destination. So at that moment, the poet, after he had finished praying, he said that I can smell the sea. Okay, our leader said he smelled the sea. So it means that smell the sea. It means that I can feel that our destination is very, very near. So that is the meaning of smell the sea. It means that I can feel, he can feel that we almost reach our destination. And then in the fifth stanza, we notice nothing as we went. A strangling crowd of little hope, ignoring what the thunder meant, deprived of common needs like soap. Some were broken, some merely bent. So we noticed nothing as we went. So in the fifth stanza, the poet, he said, I can smell the sea. He said, I can feel that we are almost reaching the destination. So what happened is, let's go, let's continue, because we almost reach our destination. So these pilgrims, they followed the poet, they followed Nissim Ezekiel, they followed the poet, and as they were going there, what happened? We noticed nothing as we went. They did not see anything. They did not see that destination where the poet said that we are almost near a destination, but they didn't see that. They did not notice that at all. So it means that the poet was giving a false hope to the pilgrims. When he said that we almost reach our destination, that was a false hope. He was just giving a false hope to the pilgrims so that they can continue on their journey. And then that was a very false hope. So these pilgrims, they were very, very tired. Now they are like aimless and hopeless. They were just going around like that without reaching the destination. So they were aimless, they were very, very tired. And then what happened? Deprived of common needs like soap. So the sun was very hot. They were walking and walking without reaching their destination. So like they were sweating. Okay, they were sweating, and now they feel like they need a common thing like soap. So why? In order to wash up themselves. Okay, in order to wash up themselves, they need a common thing like soap. Some were broken, some merely bent. It means that they were very, very tired. Some of the pilgrims, they could not even walk anymore. Okay, they were very, very tired, very, very thirsty, very, very dirty. So they were very tired, and then some of them, they said that we cannot go, we cannot walk anymore because the destination is not gonna come. And then in the sixth stanza, when finally we reached the place, we hardly knew why we were there. The trip had darkened every face. Our deeds were neither great nor rare. Home is where we have to gather grace. So in the fifth stanza, they were walking and walking and walking, okay, walking and walking and walking, very tired, and then some of them, they couldn't even walk anymore. So that too, they did not give up, and then they were struggling to work until they reached their destination. So when they reach their destination, they're like no happiness at all in their face. They don't have that happiness in their face when they reach their destination. Instead, what happened? Instead, they hardly knew why they were there. They started to question themselves. Why? Why did we take this religious journey? Okay, why did we take this religious journey? They were not satisfied at all with this journey. The trip had darkened every face. So what happened? The trip had darkened every face. Darkened, it means that the sun had burned down their faces. They were getting all these kinds of sunburn. And then their faces had become very, very dark because of the sun. So our deeds were neither great nor rare. So every pilgrims along with the poet, they were very, very hopeless. They did not find any heroic. They did not find any joy, any happiness in that journey. So home is where we have to gather grace. So now the poet and the other pilgrims, they said that living at home, they said that living at home is the best achievement of all, rather than coming on this religious journey. Now they regret going and coming on this religious journey. They said that we should have stayed at home. Even at home, we can find peace. We can still pray to God rather than coming on this religious journey. So that is the end of the poem. So as we can see, this at the very first of the journey of their pilgrimage, these pilgrim along with the poet, they started their pilgrimage with full of enthusiasm. They were very, very happy, very, very excited to go on this religious journey. But what happened at the end of the stanza, when they reached their destination, they were not happy at all. They were not happy at all. They were very, very sad, and some of them, they regret coming on this religious journey.